Good afternoon. As you're aware, the Alberta Serious Incident Response Team has been directed by the Director of Law Enforcement to enter into an investigation into the officer-involved shooting this morning. I can tell you that on October 31st at approximately 2 a.m., the Calgary Police Service received a complaint of uttering threats with a firearm, and they responded to an apartment complex in Calgary at 433 McLeod Trail Southeast. CPS officers attended at the apartment complex, and during their investigation, they encountered an adult man from the apartment unit related to the initial complaint. An officer-involved shooting occurred at that point, and it resulted in the death of this man. The identity of this individual is not being released, pending notification of his family. The incident will be investigated fully and independently by the Alberta Serious Incident Response Team. Preliminary investigation has revealed that a Carl Walther model PPKS pellet or BB handgun was located near the deceased man. A photograph of the handgun recovered is right there. ASIRT's investigation is in very early stages, as I'm sure you must appreciate. And it is ongoing. Those are the comments that we have.
Can you say how many shots were fired?
At this stage, the heart of the ASIRT investigation is going to focus on what exactly happened, and it's really too early to comment before all witnesses have been interviewed.
But it was only one officer who discharged his firearm? Was that?
As I said, it's very early in the investigation, and we're not prepared to comment on what evidence has been obtained to date until we have the opportunity to fully investigate.
What can you say about the timeline of events then? From the time they got the call, entered the building, the shooting?
That is something that's being fleshed out. Obviously, it is something that we will be looking into.
Can you say what time they arrived at the building?
2 a.m. is when they received the complaint, and they would have gone straight to the building.
So we're talking a matter of minutes between
Yes.
the time they entered the building and the time the shooting occurred?
That would be my understanding. But again, it's still very early in the investigation.
I think I know the answer to this, but I'll ask it anyways. As far as were the officers shot at with this airsoft pellet gun?
You would be correct that you know the answer to this question. It is early in the investigation. We're not prepared to comment on exactly what happened in that small window of time.
Sorry, Sue, I was trying to take a picture there. Did you say exactly where the weapon was found?
It was found very near to the deceased's body within the apartment.
What's happening to the scene right now? We heard 8 apartments this morning. The occupants hadn't been able to return. Are you guys still on scene, or?
ASIRT has been to the scene and has left the scene. There is still some forensic work being done at the scene. I don't know if that's continuing now. I know it was ongoing earlier.
Any idea as to when the scene will be released and those people will be able to return?
I can't comment.
So because that's a CPS matter?
CPS would be the ones that are currently processing the scene.
You mentioned you still have a number of witnesses you have to speak with, officers you have to speak with. Can you give us a number, how many people you might need to speak with before all said and done?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you, and these types of investigations are very fluid. And obviously there had to be a canvas of people in the area, and additionally we may want to speak to witnesses more than once. So it is something that I can't really pin down for you.
Does it present an added challenge that a lot of the people at the Landgym place may not have a fixed address?
It potentially can present problems, obviously, if we want to locate witnesses, but ASIRT was on scene very, very early into this investigation, into this incident. So people that were in the area were identified. So I suspect that we will be able to investigate completely, notwithstanding the fact that some of these people may not have fixed addresses.
I guess you can't talk too much about this specific case, but what is it that ASIRT does when there is a shooting and they get asked to investigate? What is it that you do?
Well, I can tell you what we did in this particular case. We get directed by the Director of Law Enforcement that there has been an incident and that we are being directed to enter into the investigation. We send a team of investigators, and we send a fairly large team of investigators to attend at the scene to deal with the witnesses and anybody involved in the officer-involved shooting. Once the investigation unfolds, I can't tell you exactly what they're going to do because, of course, they're responding to whatever they're uncovering as they move along.
So they're essentially, they become the detectives on the case, and the regular police are out of the picture, is that what happens?
That is correct. ASIRT is in charge of this investigation. This is an investigation that will be conducted by ASIRT investigators.
And how many investigators will be involved in the?
It can vary, but there were 8 involved initially, which is a fairly significant deployment.
I look at that picture of the firearm involved.
Yes.
I know what I see when I look at that. What do you see when you see that?
Well, I'm not sure that it's important what I see. It certainly has the appearance of being a firearm. But what's going to be important is what the witnesses saw or what the witnessers responded to. So it doesn't really matter what I see.
But I look at it and I see that, to me, it's indistinguishable from a real firearm. I would have no idea looking at that picture that it was something else. It's not like a pink squirt gun or even like a more traditional pellet gun. Most of them, you can look at them and very quickly you can see that they're not, in fact, real guns if you have a time to have a close look at it. This one looks indistinguishable.
Well, I could say certainly from a person who doesn't have considerable knowledge of firearms, if I look at it, it looks like a firearm to me. If I saw that, I would have concerns that it is an actual operating firearm. And there's nothing to say that it might not still be a firearm. It has to be tested to determine whether it meets the criminal code requirements.
Okay, folks, we'll take one more question, and we'll have to get going. Any more questions?
Could I just have you reread the press release?
Yeah.
Because I came in late. Could we get that one more time?
There were a few people who got
The
it,
statement.
so.
All right. Okay, on October 31st at approximately 2 a.m., Calgary Police Service received a complaint of uttering threats with a firearm at an apartment complex located at 433 McLeod Trail Southeast. CPS officers attended at the apartment complex, and during their investigation, they encountered an adult man from the apartment unit that had been associated with the initial complaint. An officer-involved shooting occurred, which resulted in the death of this man. The identity of this individual is being withheld pending our ability to notify his family. This is a matter that is currently under investigation by ASIRT. Preliminary investigation has revealed that a Carl Walther Model PPKS BB or pellet handgun was located near the deceased man. A photograph of the handgun will be provided to you as part of the news release that will be provided to you as well.